Hey, what's up, guys? Hope you're doing fine. Once again, it's Abu Zayd, a full stack software developer and a British accent coach at Accentrium, and also an erstwhile teacher. I taught for over a decade. For over a decade, I was a teacher. I've taught in several schools, Muslim schools, and so on. Tahfidh schools. I've been like a head of a school and so on. So when I tell you about teaching, it's not a foreigner, like a stranger. No, this guy is a software engineer. What was his business to tell us about teaching? And a lot of people hate this clip. They'll hate it. I have friends who are school owners. And when I say schools here, I do not mean, secular schools only. No, it cut across even Muslim schools, Islamic schools, Tahfidh schools, Madaris, and so on. They all fall into this category, although on different degrees. Despite my own means of survival, of the things that services I offer, has something to do with teaching and teachers, okay, and has something to do with schools. I could have felt that this may affect my business because I teach people the British accent, and the people you may want to think about who needs this accent, diction, and all that, they're schools. The schools would, speak to me. How could you come around to teach our teachers and all that? But I don't care. I need to tell you guys the truth. I know how hearing from someone who had humble experience regarding what you're doing right now, how it could open your eyes and how it could save you years of mistakes, crazy mistakes, expensive mistakes, life mistakes. There was a day I was at the ear short of while one of our teachers was counseling a young brother of ours, saying, "Hey, this teaching of a thing, do not see it as something sweet that you want to do forever. Find a job, find something to learn, a skill, and all that." And I was like, subhanallah, when I was like here, and if I'd had a privilege to be close to an ustad like this, it could have been helpful for me. Okay. And that's why I'll be telling you things that may take you years before you realize about school, or schools, or teaching, and all that. So I call it 10 reasons why you need to quit schooling, quit teaching. The first of them is this: most teachers hate teaching. They do not just have an alternative. Most teachers, they hate teaching, just that they do not have an alternative, or they have, almost zero alternative. That's why they remain as teachers. And that's the biggest reason why you need to quit anything. If you hate something, if you hate something, you should plan to quit it. Yeah, you may not be able to quit straight away because you may hate something and you find yourself in a situation why you just have to keep on, coping and trying to devise ways of quitting. But you can quit straight away. Perhaps you do not have any alternative, but you hate it. If you hate something, do not plan to spend, an extra year, 2 years, 3 years there. Plan how to quit as soon as possible, but be very smart in your planning. Okay, so that's I think the biggest reason why you have to quit teaching. You hate it. You don't like it, and some of the things I will be mentioning now, you are probably aware of them, and that's why you hate teaching. But you are still a teacher. The second of them is this: literally over 90% of school owners are callous, self-centered businessmen. 90% of school owners are callous, self-centered businessmen. I've had privilege to work with some of them. Some of them have never even taught before in their lives, especially the big schools. Okay, the owners, the founders, maybe it's an architect or businessman or anything. You realize that he doesn't care. He sees you, the teachers, as laborers. Okay, laborers, and he treats you as such. He could invest hundreds of millions in building okay, in building, coming up all the structures, mighty mansions and all that, to so when people come around, they see the school that wow, they've got facilities and all that. You could have football pitch, you could have these basketball courts and all that. But how much does it invest in the whole of the teachers? The teachers, the teaching force at the school. How much? Perhaps hundreds of thousands, hundreds of thousands. That's what you invest. All the teachers, and one single teacher, perhaps tens of thousands. Perhaps it pays you 40,000, 50,000, 60, 70. Even if it gets 70, you be, oh, I'm lucky. So these guys, they invest a lot of money putting up structures, but the brain behind those who actually want to do the job, the work, they invest very little in them. And they come up with different principles, laws, regulations, and all that. They do not treat you as humans, rather, teach you as perhaps a robot, okay? But they care so much about the buildings, how it should be nicely presented, it should look so attractive and all that. But they don't care about you. They don't care about you as teachers. If people come around, are you fine? You have the right mindset. Hope you're not troubled. Hope your bills have been taken care of by what you end at the end of the month. Okay, they don't care, but they care about the buildings. They care about the paints. They care about how shining and glamorous the buildings are. The classrooms and all that, because they're callous businessmen. Okay, the third of them, they pay you peanuts compared to what the school makes. They pay you peanuts compared to what the school makes. A lot of teachers, you will have to admit this. If you get to be paid, if you've been paid, closely 100,000 hours as a teacher, however how skilled you are as a teacher, you're very lucky. You're very lucky. You see places like where I come from, where is that? Where I hail from, you know, Ilorin, Kwara states, and other places, and northern Nigeria, all the states, and you know, teachers being paid less than 10,000 a monthly. I've worked in a place before. Was it Ogun State somewhere? It's been a couple of years. I was so surprised that Subhanallah, teachers being paid roughly 5,000 a monthly. I think some of them were taking 5,000, 6,000 thereabouts. Perhaps now maybe the salary now is something around 10, 12, or even less than 15,000 naira. And even Lagos, the teachers are being paid like, roughly 50,000 naira, 40, 35. Okay. If you even in Lekki, all this elite communities, you'll be lucky if you've been paid 70,000 naira or thereabouts, 75. And there was something I learned some time ago that really shocked me. That subhanallah, something a school you may want to call a Muslim international school, somewhere in Ibadan, maybe Al Hijra, it can cry. So I think, and I heard how much they take from each student per term. Hundreds of thousands in those years, those days. Do you understand? A good number of years back. Okay, maybe 6 years or thereabouts. Okay, now I heard that some Arabic teachers were being paid 25,000 naira. I actually had that because there was an opening at the time in the school, and I wanted to take the position of a proprietor or something like that. Because they need someone who speaks Arabic, who speaks good Arabic and English and all that. And so I had to speak to the person who left, and I was asking about the salary and the school system and the ecosystem of the, you know, and someone told me that they okay. So the Ustad told me that okay they would pay some of these Arabic teachers that come this time and blah blah 25,000 or you know while some I was like, this is a very big school. This is the labors that you use. The very the sole thing that you give, do you sell products is knowledge, is stuff. Every other thing is an addendum. The building is an addendum. The facilities are an addendum. The core thing you're selling is the knowledge. What is the school guy selling? Knowledge. Now, these guys that you use, give them 25 because the school is based in Ibadan. It's an international school, so it pays you because based on, you know, the the economy of Ibadan, but it takes not that money from the parents. Okay, people would bring their kids from outside Ibadan because it's like an international school. So people don't care to bring their kids from different part of Nigeria, and you build them. You take a lot of money from them, and how much do you pay the teachers at the end of the day? Peanuts, peanut, or like subhanallah. So that means there isn't hope. If I feel okay, perhaps it's because I'm working as a teacher in a local school. That's why my pay isn't that much. So maybe if I graduate to an international school, oh, I'll have more pay and all that. So that just smashed my hopes. That smashed my hope that even at this big school, this is what they pay the teachers. Okay, and think about it. So let's move on to the next one, which is they take advantage of your close to zero skill set reality to treat you like doormats. And you may be surprised why teachers are still stuck here. Okay, while teachers still remain in the system, toxic environment, working there. Sometimes they get ill treatment from the school owner, principal, parents, and so on. They keep on bearing. Because of what? Because these guys know they have nowhere to go. A lot of them have nowhere to go. Teachers, because you have close to zero skill set. You do not know anything you could do. If you get out of school there, you could barely start something of your own because you have no skill. They are aware of this. Think about it, compare this to software development industry. Despite if I were to get into a software development company, for example, a tech company, for example, even if it's a small company, and I do not have certificate because I don't have certificate. All the jobs I've done, I had, as a developer, I had no certificate to get those jobs. Now, I I want to be treated as doormats. Okay, okay, because there is something about tech company owners. They understand. They fear your skill as a developer. You are feared because they know. Okay, there is a saying. No, developers will say amongst themselves that they will say, if you do not treat your developers well, they will use your internet to look for jobs elsewhere. If you do not treat them well, they would use the internet to get jobs elsewhere. Right in your office, they're actually trying other places, and before you know it, they've left. So, tech company owners have learned the lesson that we have to treat, these guys, nicely because of their skills. It could work anywhere. It doesn't necessarily have to be, a software development company or anything. A software developer could work anywhere. It could work at in a Muslim bank, a halal bank. It could work anywhere. It could work even with a school as the IT manager or something like. It doesn't have to come to class or teach anybody. It takes as many, takes care of the school site and all that. It gets as many depending on his power of persuasion. It could walk to anywhere and walk. So these guys are scared of the skills of their employees. But the schools know you've got no skill. And I know math, I know chemistry, and all these are non skills. They even they want to taught you how to teach. Sometimes they are not really overwhelmed by your teaching skill, ability. And they know you can. A lot of you are not ready to found what is it? Maybe a small mini school, something like that, or where kids come around and learn. They know that you barely would you find teachers who start something like that. So they know that you have nowhere to go because you got no skill. So that's why they treat you as doormat because people keep on pouring in, day out, wanting to get jobs as teachers. So if you go, others are coming. Okay, in fact, some will say soldier. The school thing is soldier goes, soldier come. Barrack goes nowhere. The barrack goes nowhere. That's one of the slogans they would say. The school owners, other people are coming. Okay, so that's it. And also, most schools are filled with rotting kids who are barely trainable. You know, a lot of kids you're working with, you're trying to teach, impart knowledge in, they are rotting kids. They're products of workaholic parents. Parents who do not have their time, they just come in the morning, dump the kids in your own school, and they go, the father, mother alike. They do not take their time to give the kids the basic home training such that it makes the work easier for the teachers. So a teacher, you know, it doesn't feel, most of the times you do not feel encouraged. You do not feel excited, happy about the kids you're taking, especially if it's not a big school. Okay, even if it's a big school, where you have elite kids and all that, these kids could be so frustrating, and they may ask you not to touch them. A very infuriating, no, infuriating kid that needs to be dealt with. At least the teacher wants to use his wisdom and all that when he needs to be harsh with him and all that. But no, you can be harsh with him. Make the school, like like a paradise for him. Okay, so you suffer mentally, you suffer, psychologically, everything, because they do not want you to unleash anything on this rotting apple of a child. This is the environment where you're working at. So the next one, teaching saps almost all your precious daily hours, turning the job into an